Welcome to the Mesonet Weather Report. I'm Wes Lee. One of the most important factors for crop production is soil moisture. At Mesonet, we utilize an electronic soil moisture sensor seen in this picture, buried to either 2, 4, 10, or 24 inches in the soil profile to determine soil moisture. Sensors are under existing native sod as well as under a chemically treated bare soil. Data is presented in two different ways. First is the Fractional Water Index, abbreviated as FWI, and the second is Plant Available Water, or PAW. This is an example of the FWI at 4 inches at the beginning of the week. FWI uses a scale of 0 to 1. 0 means it is as dry as the sensor can read, and 1 is as wet as it can be read. FWI is not soil type dependent and is a good method to use to determine water percolation after a rain event. PAW is more complex. Here moisture is presented in either total inches at that depth or a percentage of what the maximum water holding capacity is. It is very soil type dependent. PAW uses a complex algorithm to estimate the soil moisture above and below the sensor depth. For example, a 16-inch PAW uses two sensors, 2 and 10 inches, to estimate all the water in a slice of soil 16 inches deep. It is not available if soils are frozen. Now you know a little more about soil moisture measurements. Remember, your soil type and rainfall will likely vary somewhat from your local Mesonet site. Gary is now going to discuss the newly released winter forecast maps.
Thanks, Wes, and good morning, everyone. I thought this would be a good time to take a look at our long-term outlooks from the Climate Prediction Center for both temperature and precipitation. So these will be our winter outlooks just released and give us an idea of what we might expect over the next 3 months. Well, let's do just December first. Again, from the Climate Prediction Center, the temperature outlook shows increased odds of above normal temperatures across most of the southern U.S. and up into the eastern seaboard. But again, over Oklahoma, so above normal temperatures are expected over the winter months. For precipitation, we see above normal odds for below normal precipitation, increased odds for below normal precipitation, across the entire state, but especially across the western half of the state, including the Panhandle. So at least for December, warmer than normal and drier than normal conditions are expected, especially across western Oklahoma. That would not be good news for the drought that we've seen in that part of the state, of course. Now let's take a look at the next 3 months. This will again be for December through February. First, for temperature, we see increased odds of above normal temperatures across the entire state. A little bit higher odds across the far southern reaches of Oklahoma. But again, for the entire state, expected to be warmer than normal as we go through December through February. Now for precipitation, again, just like with December, we see increased odds of below normal precipitation, especially across the western 2/3 of the state, and even more especially across the southwestern quarter of the state. So again, for those areas that are suffering from drought across western Oklahoma, this would definitely not be good news. So if we look at the seasonal drought outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, this goes through the end of February. That's pretty much the picture of what we saw in those outlooks. Drought is expected to persist and even develop. It's expected to be likely across much of the state, that's the area in yellow, through the next 3 months. So drought development likely in areas that don't see it now, and it's expected to persist or possibly even intensify where it already exists. So that's definitely not good news. So we have to hope these outlooks are about as good as the paper they're printed on. Sometimes they are, but when we have La Nina present like now, sometimes they're a little bit more accurate. So we just have to hope that those are actually wrong this time and we get some drought relief in here. That's it for this time. We'll see you next time on the Mesonet Weather Report.